We are Brightside Theater. Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights.
You know what? I have something to say.
Oh, jeez.
I think last week, in my absence, it should have just been a pause.
That's what I tried to do.
And then Steve should have jumped in with the scenes.
That's what I tried to do.
You know, somebody's stepping in and taking my line. The scenes, I felt.
What did I say?
I felt a little bit of disrespect. I have to admit. But.
Is that why you didn't talk to us in the comments or anything?
Oh, I was working.
Chime in.
I was busy. I wasn't even listening. I was checking in comic books.
I mean, poor Steve.
Anyway, I derailed it. Yeah, but now Steve's ready to say his line.
He's hanging.
So you've just stolen my line. What's going on? You're just getting your own back. The scenes.
Let's.
John, are you saying that we're going to do
you want to start this again? Do you want to start this again?
No.
All right. Yep.
No,
I don't know. I'm sensing a bright side strike, John.
Yeah.
I'm sensing that's it. Yeah. We're at one out, all out.
Wednesday night at midnight.
Welcome to Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences. And if I don't like it, I just tell it to go away. The sights, the sounds, they're so good, especially when I say them. And the scenes, can you get better scenes than this? I mean, does it get better than this? All right, I'll bring them back.
I didn't know what happened. I was like, where'd Steve go?
There
I was on the picket line. Did you not see me? I was there. I was outside.
Yeah. Oh man, there we go.
I feel silenced.
Yep.
Yeah, cancelled.
I was canceled.
Exactly. Yep. Canceled, silent. So, yeah, John, how was your 4th? I mean, you were off partying, drinking, having a good time, and getting upset
all of
that
the
people
above.
were you taking your lines.
Taking my lines, yeah. There was even a bot saying my lines at the end.
Well, yes, of course.
AI.
Go push play. That's right.
Yes. We're calling it the entity, I think, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I haven't done a show in months.
Right. I'm not here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You both fooled me. I had no idea.
Yeah. I don't think any bot would want to make this up.
True.
Well, nice to see the chat's a little the chat's lively, because for a little bit that we actually were getting nervous. Like, it was normal. I mean, not normal to see an empty chat room as we were getting ready for the show, and we, Steve poked his head in there and it's like, we're like, there's nobody there. We're like, is this thing working? And then all of a sudden it starts filling up. So, I mean, you know what that means, though? That means we're just so punctual now that people know, like, just get there at 5. They'll be on at 5.
Well, actually, they're used to us starting at 5 after. Because we're always late.
True. True.
They're on time for our tardiness.
Yeah. So we got, obviously, Steve George is in the chat. That was a test. Hi, Steve. He goes, we got Paul, VJ, Scruffy. Scruffy, is that the same Scruffy from yesterday? And he changed his name to Scruffy. Jordan, Johnny Speakers, Van Gool. So hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Guys, ladies. If I don't know, Scruffy could be a lady.
And we have at least 2 fellow Brits in there. Both Paul and Jordan are both Brits.
Oh, okay.
So, and Jordan, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, Jordan, but I don't think I am. But I think Jordan's joining us for the first time tonight. He's a follower of all of ours, I think. Yeah. Jordan has a claim to fame, fellas. Because you know how you talk about the size of my collection. Oh, very quick how I say that.
I don't talk about your size very much.
I thought we were going to talk about the off-air stuff on air.
But Jordan has...
Hang on, let me bring up those images.
Yeah.
Got graphics.
Jordan's got about nearly 1,000 4K discs.
Wow.
So Jordan gets everything.
I'd say is there a release that he doesn't have, or
I was just going to say at what point, because there aren't a lot of 4K discs.
No,
they were like. I remember Ara did the research on that once because they were looking into Kaleidescape and what they didn't have on 4K. And he was like looking it all up and he's like, there aren't a lot of 4K discs. And, so to have 1,000 of them, what's he missing? 2? Come on.
Jordan puts me to shame. Puts me to shame every week.
The Fifth Element or
yeah.
No numbers.
Jordan puts me to absolute shame. He really does. He every week I put out
should be ashamed of anything.
Well, but I put out my 2 pictures, what I've picked up on the Monday or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then Jordan's like, oh, I've just picked up 12.
Whatever came out.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and then some. Yeah.
Backing up the U-Haul.
Yeah. So Jordan says, so he's not commenting
nice
on the
to have you
collection.
here.
Yeah, joining for the first time. Yeah, nice to be able to watch you live. Yeah,
hopefully not the last. If we entertain him enough, hopefully he'll come back.
That's it. And
or inform him.
John Thompson's in the chat as well, guys. He also, just so you know, has seen Mission Impossible twice in consecutive evenings.
The latest, the new one. I've seen Mission Impossible twice too.
Have you? The new one?
No,
the old one.
The first one I saw. Many times. No, I saw Dead Reckoning the other day. I'm seeing it again tomorrow. We'll get to that. But it's it's John. What did John think? I didn't see what he said.
Did you?
He didn't say anything.
I think he really, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see on Twitter what he said. What he said.
So I saw it on the Sunday night
Twitter
early,
today.
same as you did, and then he watched it again. I think last night. So what's that? 5.5 hours of Mission Impossible in 2 nights. Yeah, that's going some. That's a lot of Tom Cruise.
We'll get to that, and we gotta lead off with our our question for the week. There you go, nice. Yeah, I loved it too. That's what I tweeted out. I was like, no spoilers. I loved it. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. But yeah, let's lead off with this question. Another box of popcorn. I've been saying, did you guys get to see this? I put it in the notes. So we gotta shout out and project a question from avscience.com. Said, hi, DJ. To accompany the donation just made, we'd like to ask the hosts a question. For your next projector, would you rather buy an A stock unit from an authorized JVC, Epson, or Sony dealer, or a B stock unit with a manufacturer's warranty at a 10 to 20% discount? Curious to hear from each of you. Appreciate the show. Thanks, Mike, Craig, and Jeff of avscience.com. So I read this and I was like, all right, I'm like, it's obvious. And then I was like, oh, well, wait a minute. No, it's not. And then I started thinking. So I was like, damn, this is a good question, especially in this hobby, in this environment. So with that, like, who wants to go first? I can answer anything.
My answer already, but I'm going with the B stock unit, 10 to 20% discount for me. So.
I now obviously I don't have a projector, so I'll have to extrapolate it a little bit, make it a little bit wider. I would have to be brand new, and it has to be. I love it. I'm sure you probably gathered that as well. I can't buy anything. Again, I'm pleased. I don't want this to be seen to be some sort of elitist or anything like that. No, but I can't buy anything secondhand. I just can't do it. Now, of course, that may not be B stock. Doesn't necessarily mean secondhand, does it? I think it might mean it's X display, but it's got to be sealed, brand new, untouched by human hands. Packed by monkeys. It's got to be completely untouched. And that's really a horrible thing to say, but it's the truth. And it's the same with discs and everything else as well. I think I own one pre-owned disc in my entire collection, and that's because it was out of print and unavailable. I can't remember what it was now, but I know I got it. It was Sucker Punch. There we go, because it was out of print. That's the only disc I've owned or ever bought that was pre-owned. So that's me. And again, as I said, I know what an absolute a-hole.
But you don't though, and that's why I went over it in my head. I was like, my immediate answer was John, the same as John. Like, why wouldn't you get B stock? You're gonna save money. Probably most of the time you can upgrade to the level above that you probably wouldn't be able to afford anyways. And now you're getting more projector, right? Or product or whatever you're gonna buy, and so you're like, oh, if it gets me into the next stratosphere of like, instead of getting the mid-range, I can get the top of the line, but I'm getting it at the mid-range price, or maybe a little bit more than what I was going to spend. But look at now, I'm getting the top of the line. But then I did think, like you, Steve, I mean, a lot of times there's something about like, I need in this hobby, it's all about those minute little details and it's diminishing returns and all of that stuff. And you think like, why would you want B stock when you're trying to round out your like perfect theater? And then you're like, I'm going to get B stock. But at the same time, I can get a better. It depends on where you. I don't think you sound awful at all, Steve. It's your personality.
Classify B stock. Is it the same projector that's been demoed or returned, or is it last year's model? Like, what do you mean by B stock? Because if I'm getting the exact same projector you're getting, but at a 20% discount because it's a demo model, I haven't given up any quality.
No, but it's the idea that it's not A quality. It's not. There's a reason it's B stock. It's not like they just go, we're going to save these ones and call them B, and we're going to save these ones and call them A.
Well,
and we're
B
going to
stock
charge
could also
less.
be last year's models, or like I guess I don't know what you mean.
I think
B
that
stock,
would just be last year. That would have a different number. B stock would be the exact same model, number, year, everything. It just at a cheaper price. They're doing it now. It's like they sell them at B stock, and you can get pretty much any projector.
Well, that's what I was assuming it was.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm saying I'm not giving up any quality. I have the same JVC NZ7 that you have, or whatever. You know,
right?
It's just mine's got a discount because it had a scratch on it or had whatever. You know, you're not going to see it anyway. It's going to be up in the dark on your ceiling.
Right. But Steve would know it was there.
I mean, besides socks and underwear, I don't need very many things brand new.
Yeah, do not buy secondhand underwear, John.
Yeah.
That's a whole different fetish.
So
depends
it's a whole
on
different fetish.
Yeah, say it depends on whose, but
So Joe says it's all about the new plastic smell for Steve. But I mean, it's let's see. I was going to go right down the list here. So VJ says B stock would be good. John says either Sony A or B stock, as they have amazing after sales support. Let's see, what's this one? B stock, you get a warranty from Van Gool. Joe
Go to Van Gool to offer the warranty.
Yeah.
That's very good of him.
Wow. A warranty from Van Gool. Joe Hotzel says B stock, like certified or refurbished, and you know, we're not 100% clear on that, but B stock, I mean, there's an issue. There's something with it. So,
it's not brand new. It's been opened or it's been,
Scruffy says authorized dealers discount, so no need for B stock. I've bought. I think he meant both. I've bought. He got both.
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah. He bought two projectors. He piggybacked them, an A and a B. And he stocked them on top of each other.
That's how he can watch two copies of Bloodsport or Bloodshot at the same time.
Yeah, that's it's in 3D.
VJ says I got a B stock from SVS and it looked brand new. I got my NHTs when I had those. Those are B stock. Those were refurbished. So yeah, I mean, there's all different reasons, and that's why at first I thought it was clear cut, and then I was like, this isn't necessarily cut and dry. And I mean, just the three of us here, we have really three different opinions. John's clearly one way, Steve's the other way, and depending on the situation, I could go either way with it. I really could, because I can totally appreciate what you're saying, Steve, because there is something that you just like, like when I got my Oppo 203, like directly from the factory, they weren't even in stores yet. You're just like, oh, it's like there's just something about it. You're like, it.
I mean, I don't feel good about this. It's just that this is the reality of it. I know what I'm like, and there's no point suggesting otherwise. But the way, John, the way you approach it, and the way most people, I think, in the chat approach it, which is, no, I'm not going to close my mind off to that. Actually, I will do that if it saves me money and it works. That's fine. And that's definitely the environmentally friendly way. That's the more the more magnanimous and appropriate way. But I know I can't do it. I just can't do it. I felt bad enough just buying Sucker Punch when it was secondhand, and that's just a nothing disc. So yeah, I mean, and funnily enough, Jordan, I'll just pop this up. It doesn't matter if it covers me. I've got my eyes there. Look, see, that's all you need. My beautiful baby blues. There we go. So Jordan says I only buy pre-owned films if they're out of print. So that's what I did with Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Or imports that are much cheaper to get than new. Again, I get that, but as I said, I just want them new. I don't know why necessarily, other than I just want it. It's packed by monkeys.
It's who you are, Steve. It's like you're. I mean,
it's bad,
you're
isn't it?
OCD. No, it's not bad.
It kind of is.
Why?
Well, because it's elitist and it's
no
bloody wrong.
Why?
And the biggest part about buying a pre-owned disc would be really the shape of the case, not the disc, because the discs are usually fine. And you don't even use the cases. You stack them in your attic. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't even know the difference.
No.
Yeah.
No, I know. Well, I don't know. I wish I could be more flexible with this, but but it's not just this. I'm like it with everything. I haven't got a secondhand car. I haven't got a secondhand refurbished phone or iPad or computer. Everything's new.
Right.
And it's, sorry. Including the underwear, just so we're clear.
Yeah,
all right, just so we're clear. Deej, you haven't mentioned about the underwear. Are we assuming new? We know where John stands on it.
Yeah.
Well, if I wore it, it'd be new.
Okay, moving on.
You wanted to go there. You got to be careful with me. Right, John?
Travis.
What's that? I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. I'm sorry. I was zoned out.
This is such a great show. The hosts don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
This chat's awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Travis's interesting comment there, actually, guys, just to slightly get away from the alley down which we were proceeding merrily. So Travis says he'd buy B stock to be refurbished, but anything except a projector. So that's interesting in and of itself.
Don't buy B stock bulbs.
Well, I was going to say, if it had a brand new bulb, would that change the?
Back then, it's. I actually, I can't remember. I think it was by Panasonic. I actually bought B stock bulbs. I didn't know they weren't B stock. They were just off brand, but they were much cheaper, and it fried my whole projector. So I've told that story here before. But hey, the good news was I had to get a new projector. Woo!
Yeah,
it's a win.
That's what you told Jen, anyways.
Yeah, but why are you holding the baseball bat and it's got dents in it? I don't know. It's the bulb did
it. So we've got more merch suggestions there, Deej. That's it.
First, the pen.
Bright side, Y fronts and boxer shorts.
Yep. Speaking of the pen. There she is in all of her glory. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful?
Well, I don't know. I still haven't received mine.
It's a light.
Set.
You and me both.
Well, you know why. I got stuff on the way. Also, it can prop up your phone, right, Steve?
Yep.
There you go.
Right. Yeah.
Bright
Lucy,
side.
the only way to
Nobody's gotten any. I haven't had a chance to. I keep saying, I'm like, I got to get to the post office. I've got a list of people I got to send these things to. So.
And that's a brand new phone, not refurbished. So top
no,
quality.
that's a brand new phone right there. Top quality. These are
brand new phone, secondhand pen.
Stock pens. Yeah, if you want a secondhand pen, yeah. Look at that and lighten up your gear. Oh, so good. Such a smart idea too.
A secondhand pen that just wouldn't be right. Right.
Why do I need one in my second hand? Oh, do you guys want to do a show today? Or
I thought this was the show.
Yeah. Do you want to actually talk about experiences, or do you want to just horrify these people?
Just upset the newbies.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's like,
this would be Jordan's last.
Right.
He's probably thinking, look, I've got about 1 million Blu-rays.
All they did was screw around all afternoon.
Yeah.
Talk about anything.
Yeah, we're about to get to our HT experiences. We have new little scroll going on underneath, a ticker going on underneath.
When does the weather come up, Deej? When do we get the weather and local sports results? And
it's bad enough. I actually put out. I didn't do it this week, but I'm putting out tweets for the worldwide time that this thing will be released. You want me to start doing the weather too? It's like I don't have enough time on my hands. I'm like, the weather today, and I don't know.
I did like the times, all the various times are across the world.
Yeah,
like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all right. You ready to get to this week's what do you call them? Experiences.
Computer experiences.
There we go. Let's do it. All right. What do you want to do first? Let me see. All right. Let's I'm actually kind of excited. I know what I'm excited to tell you guys about, but I'm going to wait on that. Let's hit this one first.
Oh, okay.
Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah. So this was just streamed on Peacock. I didn't buy the disc because I'd heard mixed
Reviews
reports
on the disc.
on the movie itself. And I wasn't
really?
sure if this was something that I was going to want to own and watch more than one time. Haven't seen it. I'm not sure that I will still want to watch it more than one time, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. So the movie itself was, I know, Steve, you've seen it. This was completely not what I thought it was. And I don't know if you had the same feeling when you got into it, Steve. Because I started watching this alone thinking this was just a standard kind of abduction / horror movie, and my wife would not enjoy it. And I got about 20 minutes into it. I had to turn it off, wait till she came home, and then started it again the next night, and we watched it together because I thought the concept was pretty interesting. As far as the experience itself, this was streaming on Peacock. It was in 4K, only 5.1, but it was upmixed. It did have some pretty good audio, even for a stream. Lots of kind of forest sounds, all that trees whipping and the winds, and the insects, especially kind of at the beginning where Dave Bautista meets the young girl and they're collecting grasshoppers and things like that outside. You can hear the stream going in the background, and it was pretty decent. And yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, again, it's not what you think it is. And like you said, Steve, it could lead to some interesting conversations. I didn't ask my wife what choice you would make.
Probably best. Because
I really didn't want to know what the answer was. But yeah, like I said, there was a bit of a, it wasn't even like a twist at the end necessarily. It was kind of the twist where you find out what this movie is really about. And definitely an M. Night Shyamalan movie. And I really enjoyed it. Again, all that being said, not sure that it's good for a second or third watch, because kind of once you know it, I don't think there's anything really that interesting going on. So
I rewatched it last night.
Did you?
Yeah, well, because I knew it was that you'd put it in the notes, so I knew to watch it. And I bought the 4K disc when it came out a few weeks ago, and I've been waiting to see it because I saw a screener, and then so last night was the first time watching it on the big screen in Atmos and 4K. Right. And I really enjoyed it second time round as well. Yeah. There's lots of things in right at the very beginning. And again, I'm spoiler free, guys, because people really should see it. But right at the very beginning, the opening credits, there are things already that give more meaning. Now you know what happens. So if you do just put the beginning on again, John, if you like, just to see the things the characters talk about are shown to you over the credits.
Okay.
which you completely miss the first time you see it. So it's well worth giving another go. In terms of, but I agree, the film's great. It does lead to conversations about what would you do. But as I say, the danger is you might not want the answer, because if it's
correct.
you'd be toast in seconds. You're like, well, okay, all right, fine. But it's really, really clever. But in terms of the HT experience, the Atmos track is very restrained, I thought. And there are times where there's very little going on in the rears. I get the impression it's actually trying to focus you more on the front soundstage. But there are a couple of fun little moments where the Atmos really does come into it. There's a nice little moment at the beginning. It's not really a spoiler because it's at the beginning, where you've got Dave Bautista outside knocking on the door to come in. And you've got the three characters inside the cabin are looking out of a window to see who it is. And as the camera moves around, so you've got initially Dave Bautista's on the left, so the front left speaker, knocking and saying, talking to them. And as the three characters inside move along to look at the window, the other side of the door, his voice floats from the front left speaker halfway up the wall, the left-hand wall, and just sort of floats there. And then as it comes back, the camera moves again and it floats back to the front left speaker. And it's a really clever, subtle little effect that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And that sounded really good. And there are a couple of times when there's someone in the basement and you can hear people walking above, and that's all in the overheads. Right. And then again, the crickets are constant. The grasshoppers, you can hear them, in the background and that sort of stuff. So I thought it was really, really good. It's a quiet Atmos mix. You're not going to expect this to be thunderous in any way. There's very little kind of pizzazz.
Yeah,
to
there's
it.
a little bit of like how it's kind of spoiler-ish, but there is some weather towards the end of the movie.
Yes.
And I would imagine that on the disc was
there's a bit of thunder rolling around, and you get some sort of a little bit of punch with the lightning, but it's not that kind of movie, if you see what I mean. Right. But it's really good. And actually, John again hits the nail on the head there, I think.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was just going to put that up.
It would have been a Twilight Zone episode. It would. It's very much like that. But it's fun to talk about it afterwards, as long as you're prepared for the potential arguments, if you get the answer that you're not expecting. But I would watch it again, John. I'd see it again. Give it a little while, rewatch it, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how some of the things have been layered throughout the movie that are it's designed to be seen twice at least. So I'm very glad I got the 4K disc. Oh, the image quality, by the way, as well, is really nice. There's lots of close-ups of Dave Bautista and others, and you can see every little mark on their face, every little smudge on his glasses and all that stuff. So the 4K disc is really, really decent. But don't expect a barnstorming experience.
Right. Actually, I felt I thought the video quality was excellent even on the stream. So
that's good. It is good.
I imagine the disc was even better, but
it's decent. It's a universal disc, so they tend to be pretty good. And I'm glad I've got it, and I'm sure I'll watch it again. So Zombie Russ 5 saying, I'm trying to think of an M. Night movie I've watched twice. Oh, surely you must have seen Unbreakable more than once.
I was just going to say,
I've seen most of them more than one time.
Splits. Even that, again, I mean, I just think you kind of have to. Some of these are designed to be seen twice. Signs, I've seen that many times. Sixth Sense, a couple of times I've seen it. I mean, I appreciate that one is all about the twist, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, there's a twist.
It's a dead good one as well.
That's what I mean. His movies are really meant at least 2 viewings. Because there's a lot of stuff that you go, how did I miss that? Right. And especially ever after Sixth Sense. And it's when you got to the first time you saw that and you get to the end and you're like, my God,
I didn't see any of that coming.
But it is so obviously there. And when you watch it back again, you're like, they did such a good job acting it out and making the situation that you're like, wow. It's like, it's that one there, and Unbreakable to me is that's one of my favorite movies anyways. I just absolutely, love that movie. It's twist on comics, it's twist on, fatherhood and father-son relationships. And, that's a great movie.
Van Gool says that Signs is a favorite of his as well. I really like Signs.
Yeah.
And funny enough, when watching, what was the Jordan Peele movie last year? Nope. Watching Nope really reminded me of Signs in a couple of very key scenes. It almost
I've
felt
heard
like
a few people say that. Yep, I've heard a few people say that.
There are definitely echoes in that. But I mean, he M. Night Shyamalan fell off a bit. He did produce some rubbish, but I think he's, I really enjoyed Old. A lot of people didn't, but I did. And this one I thought, is really good as well. So yeah, he's back on the treadmill.
This current theater was designed after his theater, his screening room in his house. I still have the article in Home Theater Magazine, and he put a 65-inch Mitsubishi Diamond or whatever projector screen, rear projector television in the wall, behind the wall, so it looked like a flat screen. And that was in like 2000, 2001. Oh. And I was like, that's where I got the idea from. It was from M. Night. So yeah,
he's
cool.
He's not too subtle with his cameos. But he's very blatant when he does them. But no, I liked his last couple. I think he's as I said, he's back as far as I'm concerned. But you haven't seen this yet, have you, Deej? You haven't seen Look at the Cabin yet.
No, not yet.
Worth seeing with Jen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just be ready for the arguments afterwards if you get the wrong answer.
Or just don't have them.
Or just
just walk out.
Just don't ask. Yeah.
I don't think it would surprise me.
So what would you do, honey?
Yeah.
You're toast. Okay. Well, Charlie. All right, fine.
So, yep. So, all right. Let's see. Let's wrap this one up if that's okay with you, Steve. I love the face.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember that face. John stayed here for like a week. Like every morning. There he was.
You got it right.
Where's my coffee?
Same gray hair and the beard and everything.
Yeah. So this is War for the Planet of the Apes, the last of the Apes trilogy that we talked about the first two, which I kept, when I listened back, DJ, I realized I kept getting them wrong. So Rise and then Dawn. And then this one is obviously War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, is this a good disc. And is this a good film? Again, Deej, do yourself a favor.
Why does that say I put the wrong codec up here?
Yeah, I was just saying,
is that
really in
2.0? That one's in
Atmos.
Yeah,
nope.
it is
I
Atmos.
forgot to change it. There's another movie you have with that.
I was looking at that and I'm thinking, man, I have that disc, but
how did I do
remember
that?
I didn't look at it.
The only one that's Atmos, we just downgraded. Steve's like, screw Atmos. I'm going with the 2.0. Shut everything down.
Yeah, it's definitely Atmos, guys. It's definitely Atmos.
Sorry.
And no, you're right. And if you're in any doubt, just as soon as you start playing the disc, it'll be very clear. The movie is absolutely tremendous. It is really, really good indeed. And when we talked with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes about the rush to war, this is the living with the consequences of war and everything thereafter. It's really, really good. I don't want to give anything away because if anyone hasn't seen it, they need to see these. And these, again, do yourself a favor. You will be, I promise you will be raving about these movies. These last two, you will be you'll buy 6 copies because just to make up for things. All right, so we'll say 12. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
so they're really good. And you've seen them, John.
Baker's dozen.
Yeah. So John, you've seen them, have you?
I've seen them all. I haven't seen any of the discs though. I just bought the set a couple months ago when they were on sale. But I've seen all of them. The first 2, like a couple times. So.
Yeah. Well, this it's just such a good film, and the video is extremely good as well. We now switch again slightly strangely. Matt Reeves goes from 185 with the second one to then 235 back with this one. But I think it's because of the sheer scope and scale of the story. So couple of just the image quality is brilliant. That still there just about conveys just how razor sharp the image is. It's a 4K intermediate, and it shows it, and the effects work on it is stunning. And the 4K brings it out rather than show it up, it shows it off if that makes sense. So it's really, really good. But the audio is fantastic. The 2-channel stereo is incredible on this. Just kidding. The Atmos is really
went right along with you.
Yeah,
I was like, it must have been really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're sitting in the sweet spot, there's nothing like it.
Or quite. So it's you get a really nice gunfight at the beginning in the forest between humans and apes, and the humans are the special forces, and you get this really sort of cacophonous audio assault at the beginning, and then at the end you get there is a ginormous fight battle, which is it's in the trailer. But what this does have, interestingly, is something you don't get often, and that is a sequence that is clearly designed for us. And why I say that is because there is a sequence at the end where the subs start rumbling when there is nothing on screen. So something's coming because your subs are going, but there's nothing to tell you on screen what it is. The characters are clueless. They don't know what's happening. But we do because of the subs. And then suddenly what happens, and you're just like, oh, how cool is that? So it's really, really good. This is the number 3, even number 2 is demo worthy, but this number 3 is demo material start to finish. So very, very good indeed. And yeah, I mean, John, you got them, so you've got no excuse, just time.
Yeah, well, I'm just time. I'm going through Mission Impossibles right now.
Oh, man. Yeah. Mission Impossible 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't recommend these enough. And again, I see Jordan in the chat just saying there that this one's his favorite. So War for the Planet of the Apes is my favorite of the franchise, and agree with Steve. So we always think he's cool. Anyone that says that, at least he didn't put I agree with George. Fantastic 4K disc, so it's all good.
Yeah. Unless he finishes it with Briggsy's an idiot, then you'll know he's talking last names.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, just looking at that as well, Van Gool just says all 3 on 4K are on sale for $16.99. I would imagine you could get the set for cheaper than that, because didn't they all come as a box set?
I think that's the set.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
because I just bought the box set for $18 to $20 myself.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there we go then. In which case, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's an absolute steal for that. You get 2 at least demo-worthy movies for, $17. That's not bad at all.
I didn't know a 4th was coming out. Van Gool's asking.
They filmed it.
Looking forward to. Oh, did they?
It's been shot, but they're now spending 2 years doing the effects. So it's not going to be out anytime soon. I don't think there's a release date for it yet. But I don't think it's Matt Reeves. I think it's someone else. And it's set many years after the end of the 3rd one, from what I understand. So you don't. I don't think you'll have to have seen the first 3. But it does. Oh, May 4th. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, there we go.
2024. Yeah.
Thought it was going to be longer than that, but there we go. Can't wait. Yeah, bring it on. If it's anything like these, happy days.
Yeah. And Paul, I love Brightside for making me want to rewatch so many movies.
Me too. I just don't
probably
have time.
none of the movies we mentioned.
I know, but that's the thing. It's. I come on here and everybody's like, "Have you seen that yet?" No. It's like, it's not like I haven't been watching stuff. But yeah.
And I got a whole slew of stuff that's not even on my list because it's been 2 weeks. So
right.
I watched a couple of other movies too that I didn't even write down.
Yeah. I'm going to bang these 2 out really quick. We'll do, oh, wow, that was weird. It didn't change us out. Mission Impossible 3 and Mission Impossible 4. Ghost Protocol. That was the first one. That's the first one where we don't go.
Macquarie. Yes, his first one.
We get names. Yeah, we get names now. And that's the Jeremy Renner one.
The Burj Khalifa set piece.
Yeah. They're just, I highly recommend going through these things, especially the 4K versions. They're so dynamic. The pictures are so dynamic. There's better 4K out there. I'm not going to lie about that. I said that, I think, about the first one too, but the colors just, they pop so well. And it's just a lot of fun. And then when you see, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, but is there a more flat out entertaining series of movies from like this many that I can't think of? Even I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but even Harry Potter movies go up and down talking to Harry Potter fans and stuff. But these movies are all pretty much self-contained. They're all, you don't have to have seen any other one. they're great home theater experiences. The sound, I mean, I know, I can't remember what they are on disc. On Kaleidescape, I'm pretty much DTS 5.1 up until I think the last two. I think are in Atmos, so maybe the last one. Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the last two, I think, are in Atmos. The others are DTS HD. Yeah.
And actually, you're right. And that's why I went. Remember, I started watching these like, I don't know, 8 months ago. And I was like, I'm going backwards because those ones were in Atmos. And so now I'm up to 4. I got back. I've watched them all. And they're just, and I love, if you haven't seen Ghost Protocol, I won't spoil it, but I love the Jeremy Renner Tom Cruise interaction at the end, the truth story. I love that ending. But yeah, home theater wise, absolutely. If you don't have this set, it's like, why? They're great home theater experiences, and I can't wait to tell you guys about 7. Spoiler free, of course.
But it, of course, the scuttlebutt was that they thought Tom Cruise was going to bow out of Mission Impossible at the end of Ghost Protocol. Jeremy Renner was supposed to be taking over, and it was only subsequently Cruise was kind of persuaded to stay on with it, mainly because the Ghost Protocol is the first time you get the stunt, the stunt that the film is built around. So in this one, of course, it's the Burj Khalifa. The next one, it's the plane, and then on and on and on. And so, but that's what brought him back. But they were expecting Renner to take over, and it obviously would have been a bit cheaper as well, I suspect. But yeah, they are good. I think 3 is fantastic as well. The opening of 3. Yes. It's just so nihilistic and nasty. It's absolutely awesome. I mean, J.J. Abrams just hit that out of the park. It's so good in that.
He still does have the longer hair too. It's like for some reason I was thinking he had the shorter hair. Maybe that was in 4 that he had long hair.
Yeah, I was going to say it's longer in 4. Yeah, it's short in 3. Yeah,
short in 3 goes back to the long
it's like an episode of Alias. 3 is basically JJ just doing Alias.
But the other thing that's really interesting about these movies, like I said, is they're all self-contained, but yet the openings of all of them, with the exception of the first one, they fill you in on what's been going on since the last time you saw him. And they do it in a very entertaining way that I don't know if we appreciated it as the movies came out, but when you watch them in succession like this, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Cause it's like, kind of like you're watching a weekly show and they'll be like last week on such and they do it in such an entertaining way that, and then it actually is usually part of the story too, of that takes you through the rest of the movie. So, really interesting, I thought, for writing all of these movies and stuff. So, but yeah, the stunts, it's just getting better and better. So, let's see who wants to go next. Raise your hand. Here we go.
Now I'm curious about this one. Yeah, John. Yeah.
Have you not seen this, Steve?
No.
You don't really like the possession kind of ghost type movies. You said that before, right?
Yeah, but I've heard from people that have seen it that have said it was dreadful and it's got really bad reviews on IMDb. And yet Jordan, of all people, I think it was Jordan anyway, on Twitter recommended this, and so I'm curious to see what you think of it. So yeah, when I saw you had this in the notes, it was
after our opening conversation that we had, and God forbid, in the afterlife, somebody tells Steve, you can communicate with your loved ones. You just have to take over a used body.
Right.
Oh my
That's
God.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. Done.
All right. So there is a hell.
6 feet under.
As long as it's not Lilu from The Fifth Element, I'll be all right.
Well, yeah. Okay. So I did this stream as well. This was on Stars. So streaming in 1080p, wasn't even 4K. And 5.1. I'm assuming Jordan is recommending this for the 4K disc and the home theater experience, and not necessarily for the story. I found this to be, and this was recommended also like on Facebook or something, and that's why I watched it, because I actually heard good things about it. But yeah, this is your run-of-the-mill possession movie. It breaks no new ground. It doesn't do anything that The Exorcist didn't do 35 years ago. I found it very predictable and not really that good. It does kind of give a big thumbs up to the middle finger rather to the Catholic Church at the end of the movie. So you may or may not be into that, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, and I can't really speak to the quality of the disc, because again, this wasn't in 4K. It wasn't in Atmos. It was serviceable for a stream. It had its standard creepy moments audio because it is being upmixed with Neural X. So, you do get your kind of things that go bump in the night happening around you. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't find this to do anything that I haven't seen in every other possession movie that I've ever watched. So I wouldn't rush right out for the story, Steve, but if somebody chimes in and says the disc, like I said, it could be great as far as the
BB
4K. Right. So it probably looks great in 4K. It probably sounds great in Atmos. It's probably a good experience. I just didn't find the movie to be that. It was very predictable and wasn't even that good. It didn't even do what it did that well. Like it wasn't that creepy or, it just, The Exorcist is still the better movie and it was 35 years ago, so.
There is now when I saw when you put it in the notes, that's what piqued my interest. And yet looking at because I'm putting this on quite a big screen that I'm looking at now. And I see something in that still that immediately makes me not want to see it.
Oh yeah.
PG-13.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not for horror films. It should be illegal.
Yeah. It should be R-rated.
Yeah, well, what's the point?
Right.
Well, if you can still scare people and do it in a PG-13 way,
but it
that's some skill right there. Yeah, but there are movies that have done that.
Right. And now again, and I heard good things about
Jaws
it, so I don't know what these other people were seeing that I didn't, but I don't know. Is Jaws rated R? I think it's
it was a PG, wasn't it? Right? Wasn't that a PG-13?
Yeah, I think that was PG.
Yeah.
It was PG at first.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think horror should be rated R at least. I mean, in the UK we've got 15, so we've got PG, 12, 15, and an 18. And I don't mind horror that's a 15 or above, but PG, or a 12 just screams not very, not enough for this gorehound. So that's always a worry for me, but there we go. So yeah, Jordan, just so again, anyone listening just says, can see why John has the opinion on the film that he does. I don't know. There's so much good horror out there at the moment that I don't need mediocre.
Is there?
Yes.
Well,
and hopefully very soon next week, we're going to be talking about the Evil Dead Rise. Hopefully.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to go back to Jordan's other comment that we had up. Jordan says, I own Pray for the Devil on 4K, which looks great. I think it's worth checking out at least once. And my comment to that was, this is where we need the ability to rent stuff 4K wise, like on disc.
Well, I think does Kaleidescape give you that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. But
can you?
No.
Right? It's like, how do you get, there's not a lot of 4K rental places, so you can see it just once. So,
don't they still, I think they still do 4K discs.
Yeah, but it's not like what Netflix
it's not
used
worth
to be.
the trouble, I don't think. Because you can get most of these for $10 or $12. So it's
eventually,
not worth the process of having to mail. Remember we used to do that with Netflix, but I don't think it's worth it anymore.
Away in the fall.
Yeah, I think in most cases, you're buying the disc is your rental, so.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. And we already did that. Steve. Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. I haven't seen this in a while.
I've never seen this movie.
Really?
Never seen
it. John.
I haven't. I haven't heard good things about it, but
can we wait?
Let's,
yeah. Do you?
We'll wait. We'll wait, John. Off you go.
Should I?
We'll wait.
Should I watch it?
Yeah. You want to put it on hold and we'll all talk about it next week? I'd be happy to do that.
So that means I got to go buy it this week.
It'll be streaming.
Let me see if it's
surely.
Let me see if it's on Prime Day real quick.
Have you now? Tell me, Tej, while John does his shopping. Tell me this, Tej. You haven't done this one, have you? You haven't done this in the old.
Did I?
'Cause
I don't know.
didn't
I don't
if you
think
had.
so. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't. I know I've seen it multiple times. This one, Battleship is another one that's like a guilty pleasure that you just.
DTS.
Oh my god, yeah, and you're just like, it's so much. And honestly, this one shocked me with the story. I was enthralled with that. I'm like, this is way better than I expected it for a movie with such a rudimentary title.
Oh man,
It's like
$15, 4K.
what do we call this? I don't know.
4K.
They're fighting in LA and
Is it 4K,
Battle
John?
LA.
It's 4K. It says 4K.
Wow. Are you? Has
No,
Battle?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah.
me
Oh, this
see.
is one of those four. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's Blu-ray. I mean, if it's in 4K, I mean that would be worth picking up, ASAP. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's out yet. I mean, great if it is. It's so just so again, I'm not sure. I think you said it, Deej, but I probably should make it Battle Los Angeles is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Battle Los Angeles.
Well, I'm happy to wait. I couldn't be sure whether you'd done this or not. I thought you might have done because it's such an HT experience.
It really is.
Oh, so Travis says Kaleidescape's got it in UHD, but non-HDR, and I haven't seen it. So, okay, well, that'll be interesting. Well, perhaps we could leave it till next week then, and you might be able to check that out, Deej. And then, John, I don't know if you're going to. It does seem a lot, $15. Perhaps see if perhaps someone has got B stock.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for now. Certified pre-owned. Yeah.
See, look at that. The
$8.99.
AV Science would be very pleased.
Yeah.
Should we leave it? Or I can just quickly talk about it briefly?
I
Or
would.
do you want to?
Yeah. It's what's the running time on that? It's pretty. It's not even It's not that long, is it?
Hour 40, 140,
Yeah.
I think, something like. Or actually, no. Do you know what? I think it might be a bit more. I'm not sure.
Is it? I forget.
Well,
had
in
so
fact, it
much
must be
fun
more
with
than that because I've got a timestamp at 143.
There
and
you
that's
go.
towards the end, so it's got to be
very
longer than
rarely
that.
do you comment on the credits.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, exactly. Oh, they were great. So,
I
okay,
did
well, I'll
once
do it.
though. I can't remember what the movie was. I did it. No, I'm not kidding you. I was
Spider-Verse?
No.
Because that's got cartoon credits. And,
Yeah, but there was one that maybe it was one of the Guardians movies or something. I don't know that the 4K and the Atmos and the music and everything and the work. You're just like It was an amazing. I gotta think. I know I talked about it in one of my reviews.
Should we be playing the ka-ching slider, John?
I'll have it Thursday. Yeah, I'll have it Thursday.
There we go.
All right, should we leave it till next week then?
Battle
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Save your notes, people.
This show cost me money, man.
There you go. What do you have it? What else do you have, Steve?
We could do Pearl. Do you want to do Pearl quickly? This is one John.
Oh yeah. We
itching.
have
Just the second one. This is the sequel to X, right?
Prequel
to X. Okay.
Yep. So
your favorite film.
I pulled up the IMDb for that. So
Yep. So okay. So this, as we've just said, Pearl then is it's the Blu-ray 1080p. I think it's DTS 5.1 master audio. This is the prequel then to X, the Ty West horror movie from last year or thereabouts, might have been the year before, that John was so enamored with.
Yeah.
This was just after I joined the show, John, wasn't it? And this was when you were still kind of figuring out. Yeah.
One of the first recommendations.
Didn't go well.
I didn't love it.
Yeah, not as bad as Malignant, but still. So I didn't like X the first time I saw it. Really liked it the second time I saw it, and when this I heard was coming out, I was a little bit reluctant about it because I wasn't quite sure what they could do with it. But actually, having watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed this in a what the hell is going on kind of way. And funny enough, we're showing the trailer there, which is actually giving quite a bit away. So what we've got there is, by the way, DJ,
it's the trailer.
Are you allowed to show the trailer on YouTube? We're not going to get kicked off, are we?
I don't think so.
There's no volume.
Okay.
So
No volume.
No one say anything. No one say anything. That's right. Yeah, guys.
Too late. My lawyer just did.
Gave it away.
You're fantastic.
So this is set in 1918 then, as it says on very helpfully on the IMDb page. So it's set in 1918. This is the old lady in X. She is now in this, a young lady called Pearl, believe it or not.
I was going to say, that seems like a big time difference.
Yeah, well, quite. Well, she was very, very old in X, and she's now young. Interestingly, played by the same actress, however. So she played 2 roles in X and then was playing the same role in this. And this is kind of a strange movie in terms of it's a sort of homage to kind of the Technicolor movies of the 40s and even into the 50s. So it looks, you can see there how heightened the colors are and how bright it looks. And so it homages that. But the movie itself is fascinatingly just riveting. This woman has got something seriously wrong with her. And as the movie goes on, you begin to realize just what that is. And so as the story develops and unfolds, and it ends with this lengthy monologue that she delivers, you just can't take your eyes off it. It is really, really good indeed. So I mean, if you like X, John, I know you didn't. Deej, I'm not sure you would. All right. But if you did like X, I would absolutely recommend this. And I really, really enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. I kind of watched this under some sufferance because I thought, well, I've got to see it because I like X, so I need to see it. But I really enjoyed it. Image-wise, it's interesting because it's 1080p, but it's very heightened colors. So it looks a bit like The Wizard of Oz. Everything is that much more saturated, deliberately so. It's homaging all these movies, and the sound is perfunctory for the movie. There's not a lot to it, but it looks amazing. And as I said, once these events start to unfold, and you realize just how unwell Pearl is, mentally more than physically, it's awesome. It's really, really good. And yeah, funny enough, again, the guys in chat are saying Travis says the end credits scene is disturbingly great. I won't give that away, but I would agree. And then the final shot, unforgettable and creepy, says Jordan. These are poster quotes. I do recommend it. And in fact, John, I would say probably if, one evening, if it's on streaming and you can find it, and you've got, it's not a long film. I think it's only an hour and a half, something like that. It's not like 1:43.
It's on Showtime right now, according to the IMDb page.
It would be worth seeing it. If you've got nothing else to watch. Lydia's not going to want to see it,
right?
Because it's proper job. So but I think it would be interesting to see what you think of it.
Okay,
it is messed up.
I'll check it out. I like messed up.
After all that, it's like
I like
all that. I don't think that's going on the Blu-ray box. Keep Georgia, Brightside Home Theater. It's messed up.
Paul Hurt says this is going on the list, so perhaps it should say that on the box.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's already sold 2 more copies.
Yep. That's funny.
You're welcome, Ty West.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have let's get to Guardians 3. 4K Dolby Atmos on Kaleidescape. It dropped weirdly. This was the first one. Is this the one that we did a pre-sale on? Did I tell you guys? I think it was one of the first ones Disney films to get a pre-sale, because typically on Kaleidescape up until this, it was, they just showed up. It's usually when it dropped on Disney Plus, we'd get it that same day, but there was no pre-sale so that you could, not have to wait in line on the big day.
Yeah, in case they sold out of the digital copy.
Yeah, but Disney's doing something different, obviously, because what's Little Mermaid is already up for pre-sale. And all of these things, what was the one? Oh, Transformers that just dropped today. If you pre-purchase the movies, they give you the heads up a few days before. Oh, this is going to be dropping. So I got the notes on this one early. It's this one here. Let's get to it. Variable aspect ratios. Travis is in the chat. Travis hates them. I am, I wouldn't say ambivalent, but I can take them. I can leave them. It depends on the movie. But I'll tell you, I watched this thing all the way through with, no masking, watch the variable aspect ratios. And there's some scenes that are pretty good, but yeah, exactly. But to be fair, Travis, he doesn't get the advantage because he has a 240 screen, 235 screen. So when he goes to, if he was to go back and forth, he would have the smaller. It doesn't get bigger, right? It doesn't work. So that's why he doesn't like them. But if you have a 16:9 screen, you get the intended effect. But I will say, like what Travis does, what Todd does with his, you just go to you crop it, and I put up a 240 screen. I did it with Aquaman. I wasn't a big fan of the variable aspect ratio in Aquaman. And one of the things when I got my Kaleidescape, I was excited about is a lot of people had told me that they don't do Kaleidescape didn't do variable aspect ratios. And then, because Dark Knight, for instance, doesn't have a variable aspect ratio on the 4K, but if you get the HD, you do get the variable aspect ratio. So I was all excited. I'm like, oh, these movies that I don't like to have my masking up. I prefer to watch a movie if it's in, 235. I want my masking to be there. So I was all excited for that. And then you find out, oh no, they do have it. So Aquaman, but I digitally mask it with the Lumigen. I put my masking up, my velvet masking up, and I enjoy the movies that way. And this is one that I'll probably never watch the variable aspect ratio again. It was nice. It was fun. They utilize it, but if you're not having it, I don't think you're going to miss anything with it. But other than that, the picture, the sound, really happy with it. I watched it, like, as we've been talking the last couple of weeks, I watched this at -6 dB. Really, really enjoyed it. Great bass. It's not reference level bass by any stretch of the imagination. But the sounds, the pans, the music, so good. It's like a lot of times, in these Guardians movies, there's a soundtrack to it. And the way they manipulate the sound is a lot of fun in this. I know it's coming out soon on 4K. You guys will, if you haven't seen it, I'm not spoiling anything by telling you there's a soundtrack to these movies, because that's why it's called Volume 3. But the way they manipulate it, like sometimes you'll be hearing it the way you'd hear it, like if you were outside somebody's headphones, but then they'll put you inside their headphones. And then other times it's the radio, like, a radio in the ship, or it's a radio. If you saw the Christmas special, it's like that kind of atmosphere. And then they move that sound around. Just that example alone it's a lot of fun, and you're going to have a lot of fun with this one in your theater. And the picture, again, the 4K, the HDR, it's so vivid, so deep, rich colors. To me, it's the best Guardians movie. I know John's a huge fan of the first one. This one here made me appreciate the others even more. Really, really emotional if you love animals. And that was the intended, purpose. Mm-hmm. But I just have so much. I'll watch this over and over, but I'll be watching it with digital masking. So,
did you invite Meg round to finish it off?
I honestly, I know she's no way. She's not. I mean, I'm telling you right now, she's going with me tomorrow to Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, and I don't think she could watch it right now because Rocket looks just like, when they get the close-ups on him, he looks just like our dog that we just put down, Stanley. Right. I mean, it's that, because same colors and everything, and you're just like, when you see those close-ups on Rocket's face and stuff, and you're just like, I mean, when I saw this in the theater, I was just like, oh, and my daughter was sitting right next to me, and she kept looking at me. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, this time I was like, Jesus. My wife came down. She's like, "Oh, is this the one Meg can't make it through?" I'm like, "Yup, it is. Go."
Oh man, I get that. And like I said, I mean, we've been flying for some time. It's just, oh my god. So that's quite tricky. And then the last, again, no, spoiler free, the character at the end that he encounters, for those of us who lost a significant other in the last few years, is a is tough to get through as well in the right way, in the way that it was intended.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I again, just to, I like the variable aspect ratios, but I've got a 16:9 screen as we all have. And I like it. I love how it then, moves it up.
Yeah.
And even better when they integrate it. So we talked about Quantumania on Disney Plus, when they go into the quantum realm, and then so those bars move up rather than just sort of click your fingers and it goes up and then goes down. So when they integrate it, and Disney do like to do that, I think it's great. And no one surely can have an issue with Maverick. And the variable aspect ratios on that. So I like them, but I do get why those with big 2, 3, 5 screens would find it irritating. I mean, I understand that, but you pay your money, take your choice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. VJ saying in the chat, he's saying, I've been seeing people say the picture is not as good as volume 1 and 2. And then Travis says at VJ, I've been hearing that too, but I think it's how it was produced. A little darker theme, darker images. And that's a great point. The movie itself, think the Batman, because a lot of the scenes in this are very, very dark. And what I did is, especially when I went back through it the second time, and for different scenes, that is, and watched some of the variable aspect ratios with the picture, with the masked, not masked, stuff like that. Well, there's a setting on my projector where I can enhance my enhance the black levels. So I messed with that a little bit. And it deepens the black levels, but to the point that when you're watching it with my masking up, you don't need to do that because the perceived contrast ratio is fantastic. But when you take the masking away and then you go into a 235 shot and you have that, you hit that and it gives you that same kind of effect. But the problem is when you do stuff like that, you lose a lot of the finer details. And that's why I mentioned the Batman. It's like the Batman is shot so dark that if you have that, if you don't have your black levels calibrated right, you're going to lose a lot. And you might not even know you're losing it because it's such fine details. What's interesting about Guardians is Volume 3 is it's not the Batman because it's so vibrant, but there are a ton of dark scenes. You're in ships and stuff, and there's stuff in the background, and you might feel like it doesn't have the same level that you're accustomed to with like volumes 1 and 2, but you're in a dark ship and you're getting that depth, but you're also getting those brighter scenes, the entertainment. There's a lot to it, and I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it because of all of that. So I don't know if that's a fair comparison. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think, because I know VJ saying he does have it downloaded. He just hasn't seen it yet. But yeah, that's what's tough about comparing movies to other movies in different intents, right? And it's like, I'll watch a movie and be like, I'll throw on something else just to make sure my HDR looks good, because maybe in that movie it wasn't perfect, but maybe that's what they intended. Like the Batman's like that. It doesn't show off HDR the way we think we want to see HDR, but it actually shows off HDR so damn well because it's giving you that gradation that you don't get without HDR. So, a lot of stuff. I really enjoyed it. So, looking forward to hearing what everybody has to think about that when it finally hits physical. So, all right. Whoops, we got to get back to this here. There we go. What do you have left there, John? Do you? Oh, you got
I got a couple things, but I think we should skip. Really, we should skip the two we talked about earlier.
All right, we can do this one here if you would like. Training Day.
Training Day. So yeah, this was 4K disc. So Dolby Atmos. Obviously 4K HDR. I did watch this at -6 dB, so reference level.
So I'm going to say degrees.
Yeah,
I was really cold.
6 degrees. Yeah,
yeah. In
Texas. Texas. Yeah, it's Texas. So it took a lot of AC to get to
in July.
Yeah. I know this has been out for a little while on 4K, and we've talked about it already, but I just finally got around to picking it up and watching it. I hadn't seen this movie in years. I mean, I've obviously seen it before multiple times, so nothing was a surprise, but I hadn't seen it in a long time. So I really, really enjoyed it because, like I said, it's been a while. I thought the disc was fantastic. It looked incredible. The sound was incredible. The gunshots and the Atmos on this were really, really well done. Everybody has seen this movie, so I don't think there's anybody that hasn't seen it. So I'm not telling anybody anything as far as that. But again, if you haven't seen it, this may be what somebody that hasn't seen it. Yeah, this movie is awesome. And if you haven't seen it in a long time like me, it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't picked up the disc yet, definitely go out and pick it up. It's trite to say at this point that it's never looked or sounded as good as it does now. We could say that about almost every 4K, not every 4K disc, but almost every.
Right. So
it kind of goes without saying, but I'm still going to say it. It's never looked or sounded better. This was just incredible. And again, first time in a long time that I've seen this on a big screen. I did see it at the theater years ago, but every other viewing has been at home on a TV, and this was the first time on a projector at the big screen, and it's really, really great. So
the disc is really, really good. This is a Warner's remaster where they've spent a lot of time on this, and they've changed some of the color timing as well. I think towards the end it looks markedly different to previous Blu-rays, but it is a great disc. It really is a must buy, this one, not just because it's a great movie, but it does look and sound amazing. Have you watched it on Kaleidescape, Deej?
Yeah. I remember we talked about it, and it's like, it's funny because we were just what we were just saying about Guardians and the depth and the darkness and bringing up the Batman, watching some of those trailers. That's what we were saying about Training Day too. The dark scenes for this and the tones that are out throughout this movie, the grittiness and everything. I thought the 4K disc really shined on all of that stuff. And I'm wondering if 4K and the HDR and stuff is actually making that more available to us, and we're noticing it even more now than we could have and did notice in 1080. These all look pretty good in 1080 too, but compared to what we knew then. Right. It's like every iteration we're like, wow, it's never looked this good. And now now we're here at 4K with HDR. And looking at the poster that we're seeing here and then watching that trailer play, and you see what's interesting about the trailers is they'll jump from scene to scene to scene, and you can really see the hues in each scene. Right. And how quickly they change. It's like, ooh, this one's almost got a yellow filter. This one's got a different filter. And it's like, you really see what they were going for in these particular scenes. And then maybe when outside, it's more of a realistic lighting scenario, and that shines, and it's, I just thought it's fun to experience all these things, these different movies, and the way that they're shot and everything. And I'm hoping that's what it's doing for everybody. The HDR and stuff is just really showing that stuff off. What was I going to say? Oh, we have, talking about, are you guys done with that for now?
Yeah.
Day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Going back to variable aspect ratios, Paul was saying, I saw him on Twitter saying, it's like, it's very, and I kind of agree with this take as well. I don't mind different aspect ratios. I just want them to pick one for a movie and stick with it. I'm not a big fan of in a movie. Right. And different, the 4:3 for the Snyder Cut. I built the masking for that. And I love that idea of doing different things, different aspect ratios. But changing in a movie, I'm not a big fan of that. And like I said it when Maverick came out, I wasn't looking forward to that. I did like it. I do like it in that movie, but it's very rare that I would be like, oh, that's a good idea. It's most part, I think it's pretty gimmicky, and I'm like, what are you going for here? Why can't they just pick a a format and stay with that in the movie. It just.
I just think it depends on how it's integrated, because there are some films that do it really well, like Maverick. There are others that do a bit of a strange job, like The Dark Knight, where it'll flick for 2 seconds and then it'll go back, and that's distracting. And what? Right. There's the shot that I always think of is the one above the yacht. There's a shot where it goes from 235, it shots to an area, it goes to an aerial shot over a yacht where it goes full screen, and then it goes back again, literally 2 seconds later. What was the point of that?
Right.
So I think it depends on how well it's integrated.
Yeah. So here's my issue with it. And usually I give all license to artists. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Knock yourself out. You're the artist. Right. But here, the problem I have with it is the variable aspect ratios in movies is they fought so hard for us to get to 16:9 letterbox frames, because our TVs used to be 4:3, and then they would put out they would crop a movie or pan and scan a movie to put it out on VHS. But you think they're doing a lot for filmmaker mode now to get us to turn off, vivid mode. There was a big push in the 90s to get people to understand that you wanted to have those black bars at the top and the bottom. And so you could see everything, right? And the idea was like, look at how much you're missing if you don't have, then they'd show you a pan and scan. And that's why I had Die Hard in the opening, is because you'd be like, in that one scene, they did all of this stuff to get to educate people. And now that everybody's educated and knows that when you're not in the proper aspect ratio, you're going to be missing something, they produce movies that actually have different aspect ratios in them, knowing these are movies that are going to theaters that have a fixed frame. So they're going to pick them. They're going to pick something when you're at the theater. If you're not in an IMAX theater, you're going to get the 240 shot the entire time. If you're in IMAX, oh, wow, you get the IMAX. What the hell? That's why I truly believe it's gimmicky on the home release side, because they're just trying to get you to go, oh, look what my TV does. But then you have people that want to nothing. There's nothing. But also release one that, like, you don't have to have thousands of dollars in a Lumagen video processor to be able to compensate for, or people like Travis that have a huge screen. They went widescreen. Well, give me that version, just like you did when you gave it to the theater. It's silly, because the artists work so hard to get us to see everything. And now they go and pork you by saying, well, you can't see everything all the time. It's like, what the hell?
Tell us how you really feel, DJ.
Yeah, I was going to say, and breathe. Yeah. Right. So, we nearly went Dark Side DJ then. I was a bit worried.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
So just to bring us back down, to lighten the mood a little bit. So in the chat we've got, Denzel Washington, favorite Denzel movie then, chaps? What are we thinking? It's all gone quiet over there.
No. Training Day, actually.
No. I mean, that's the one he got his Oscar
I really like
for.
Glory. I do like Glory a lot.
Yeah.
But that's, he's in it, but I wouldn't.
There's so many good ones. I'm trying, what was it? What was the one that he was in, and it took place? It was like a action movie, and the
Man on Fire?
No, that was awesome. I loved that. This is not a bad Denzel Washington movie. No, it's not Virtuosity, but it was around that time.
Book of Eli is great. Equalizer is also great.
Yeah. So we've got Fallen is great. I had an early DVD of
Equalizer 1, 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying. What the hell was the?
Describe it again, Deej. Go on. I'll see if I can guess it.
It ends in in an amusement park, for the love. I can't think of it. It's oh man.
Oh, Jordan's saying Fences. Do you know what, Jordan? I've got the Blu-ray of that, and I still haven't seen it.
I don't think
I've had that since it came out, and I need to see that. Yeah, it's apparently very good. And you get an Oscar for that as well, I think, or at least it was nominated.
John Q.
Yeah,
that
Taking a
was good.
Pelham, Deja Vu.
That's what I was trying to think of. I was like, what's the one with Lisa Bonet?
No, it was Virtuosity.
Yeah.
It was Virtuosity in that movie. I loved that movie. That was in 95. I'm just looking it up now. Crimson Tide, Philadelphia.
Yep.
I almost was going to say that, but even Pelican Brief, all of these old, that's why I'm saying, like, you go
American
back to
Gangster.
all this. Yep.
Super good.
Yeah.
Malcolm X. I mean, he's just
So,
Yeah. I mean,
we got 40 minutes left. How many movies has he done?
That's you go. He was
Actually,
fantastic on Saying Elsewhere. I'm looking at it. I said I'm on IMDb. I said I just
Saying
clicked
Elsewhere.
on his name.
I forgot about that.
No, and that's why I said that's.
Oh, sorry,
I'm
I missed
cheating.
it. I'm just kidding.
Not trying to say these are coming off the top of my head. I'm like, it was Virtuosity. There it is. Ricochet,
1992 film.
But he look at how many movies he did. Like Heart Condition in 1990. He did he did Glory in 89, The Mighty Quinn in 89. Then he did Heart Condition. Did Mo Better Blues, Mississippi Masala in 91, Ricochet, Rabbit. I mean, he's got like almost two movies. 93 did 3 movies. He did I don't know what Rabbit is. He narrated a voice. He did Pelican Brief in Philadelphia in 93. And then he took 94 off and came back and did 3 movies. 3 movies in 95, Crimson Tide, Virtuosity, and Devil in a Blue Dress.
No, then he didn't take 94 off.
Exactly.
He was making 3 movies.
Yeah. So, but then in 96, he just did Preacher's Wife. But yeah, he's got all of his movie. I think he's just that personality that you just love to see him and stuff. Right. And you just, no matter what he's doing, that smile, and it's like his like little bit of sarcasm and the way he I mean, I'm sure they write it that way, but it maybe in person he's that quick-witted. But all his characters are just so like, what did you? It's so good.
If you get time, obviously not now, but at some point, if you, I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube video where he is recounting the time that Nelson Mandela came to his house, and he lived next to Sylvester Stallone, and there's all these helicopters circling over, and Stallone was leaning over the garden fence and going, "Hey Denzel, what's going on? What's happening?" Trying to tell him what was going on. So there's a YouTube clip of it. It's quite funny. So worth watching if you get time. Oh, there's one I don't agree with, although it's a decent film.
Magnificent Seven.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay, but it's not. I mean, it's certainly not one of his best. I wouldn't say compared to Man on Fire, Book of Eli, Training Day, and all those movies. But yeah, no. It is a movie.
Well, that's why I went with Virtuosity. That's one everybody would be like, "What?" And it's like, and it is. I have it on Laserdisc. Had it on, and still own it on Laserdisc. It's like, yeah. So, all right. You want to go? You got one left, right, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why don't you do that, and then I'll wrap up with...
Okie dokie. So this
is in 2.0 stereo.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, this definitely is, which was a bit disappointing to me. Because when I bought the disc, I didn't realize that. But, there it is. For reasons we'll talk about, doesn't really matter.
Yep.
So National Lampoon's Vacation. Which is now this is one I had seen. I've seen it many times. I hadn't seen Christmas Vacation, previously on the Bright Side Home Theater podcast. So I hadn't seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That now I have. So this is just come out here last week before maybe, and I haven't seen it for a long time. I never owned it on Blu-ray. I think I had the DVD and hadn't seen it for ages, but I have seen it a number of times. Movie's great. I mean, we all know that. There's no surprises there. It's very, very funny. It's a little tricky these days because there are some jokes in this that I don't think you'd get away with anymore. And I'm pretty near the knuckle, I'm sure, even then in 83 or whenever it was that they made it. But you would never, ever get away with doing this on a studio release now. Not a chance. So anyway, but the movie's still very funny, really, really good. The main reason, and again, the audio on the disc is 2.0 stereo. Nothing, even up mixing it to Neural X, nothing creeps beyond the front 2 speakers, at least not that I heard. Everything is in the front. It doesn't even do what some discs do and open up the sound stage. So you get a nice big wide kind of audio and everything else with the music. It doesn't really do that either. It's all very, very focused at the front. But the reason to get this disc, and I would suggest that people that are fans of this ought to pick it up, and by all means wait till it's cheaper if you wish, or indeed get a B product. Then it is the video. The video on this is really, really nice. And it is bright. The HDR is fantastic. The detail levels, bearing in mind there's plenty of grain. Obviously, it was shot on film, but there's plenty of grain, but it's well managed. But the detail levels and the HDR and the color saturation are a completely different experience to having seen it before. I always remember this looking quite washed out and quite and not very sort of appealing as a from a visual point of view. But this disc takes all that and just fixes it. The details from the car seats. I put some pictures up on Twitter of the hat that the old lady wears, the auntie, and you can see all the different stitching on her hat. The skies are beautiful and blue. The clouds are fluffy and white. It really does look good. This is a proper re-release from Warner's where they've spent some time on it. Again, a bit like with Training Day. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this, and I didn't see it in theaters, so this is the biggest screen I've ever seen it on. My tiny 75-inch screen compared to you two. But it was really, really fun. Do you guys own this? Gonna get it?
Yeah.
Got it? Or
I haven't got it yet. I
Kaleidescape.
will get it eventually.
is it 4K on Kaleidescape, Deej?
Yep. Yeah, I got it
nice.
in 4K on Kaleidescape. I think it just came out or was released just before the disc. And I bought it then, and I've been waiting to watch it with Jen. I was going to try to get it in this week because I saw you put it on the list, but yeah, I did scan through it, and same thing. I obviously just jumping through, I didn't notice much about the sound, but the picture was just, you're like, oh, it looks so good compared to, I can't remember the last time I watched this movie, but it's usually been like on cable television. I can't remember. I've owned the discs. I don't know when the last time I watched it on disc. So, cause it's a comedy too, right? So you're just like, I mean, a lot of times I don't sit in my theater and watch comedies. It's like, even if it's a new comedy, I'm like, oh, we'll watch this upstairs and relax with the dogs and watch a comedy. But now again, we're getting into that 4K, the HDR, you're starting to see things and you're like, no, we got to go downstairs and watch this properly, and this is one of those movies. I completely agree with you. The picture, you're just like, and there are some sights to behold, Yeah,
it is surprisingly good at times. Again, I didn't expect when I put it on, I did not think I'd be taking pictures for Twitter. I just didn't think that it would matter. It just wouldn't do that. But once I got into it, I'm like, oh my God, right. Well, that's got to be done. And, because people need to see just how good it really can look. So yeah, I recommend this one. This is well worth getting. You don't have to buy it yesterday, but it'll be worth picking up when it'll be dirt cheap within a couple of months, and well worth picking up and visiting and again I see again Jordan's just saying now he was really happy how excellent the disc turned out. It really does look different. John's just saying that CEX in the UK, so that's now a bit of, I call it CEX, right? Apparently you pronounce it sex. I assure you. Doesn't I know?
Not
sorry,
kex.
Mr. YouTube. No, well, no, I know it is officially in their adverts. They call it sex. Don't ask. Anyway, selling it for £15, and it says second users just push your OCD. Now, look, it's not OCD, John. It's just me being particular. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
we've had this conversation.
Right. That's funny.
Probably is OCD.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I pressed that one. It went up.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
That's me. There you go. Oh,
Look at you. You're all over the place. I give these guys access, and jeez. No, but yeah, Van Gogh's had this one too. Where'd it go? Wait.
We give DJ access. And
give.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Van Gogh saying, I never owned this movie because it was on cable all the time growing up. And it is one of those movies that you've owned and watched so many times that you're like, what do I need to own this for? But that's the exact point, is what we're getting them in now in the 4K. And I think this is one of those times where you can actually say, I don't think at any time I've ever said we're there. Like when I had Laserdisc, I definitely wasn't saying this is the be all end all. Definitely not DVD. And, maybe with Blu-ray we were, but now with 4K and you start to see 8K and you start to see the next generation of technology and you're like, is there a difference? What's the new improvement? If you started a collection now, you could probably end on this unless they're going to come out with something that's going to make us want to get it. But quality wise, I don't know in the future if we're going to be able to look at this and go the next iteration 10 years from now, 20 years from now, go, that's never looked any better than this. Right. I don't know if because we're getting beyond the human perception now. And don't get me wrong, I'll buy it, and I don't care. I know I can't see it, but I know technically it's better. I will buy that, but you're starting to get to a point here where you won't be able to say that 10 years from now. I don't think. I don't.
Well, John won't be buying Lawrence of Arabia again.
I will not. I'm actually thinking about selling it. It's like $200 now.
Oh, really?
It's way up there. Yeah, I was looking at it
for a used copy.
Yeah.
Oh,
B
well,
product.
I might get a little less because it's used, but
wonder what I could sell my Kaleidescape version for.
Yeah, I wonder.
Damn, so you could buy another 6 copies.
Right.
So Travis just says in the chat there, I've got a vivid. I think we can all kind of. I didn't see it in theaters like this, but that music says I have a vivid memory as a kid of running into the theater because we heard Holiday Road, just an absolute classic. That is, that is. Do you know what that music? That particular song is almost up there with Danger Road from Top Gun or from
Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. Sorry, Danger Zone from Top
Danger
Gun.
Road
Or Danger Road.
That's
like Fury Road. Yeah, it was a Mad Max version. But it and the sort of the Indiana Jones music and Superman and all that sort of stuff. Holiday Road is so evocative of these movies that you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
All right, you all set with that one?
Yeah. All done.
John, did you want to say anything about The Witcher? Did you want to bring that up?
We can skip it. It's up to you.
All right. I'll watch a few more. Maybe we could talk about it next week.
Okay.
All right.
Did we want to just quickly talk about episode 3 of H/Jack from Apple TV Plus?
You can.
Because John didn't separate us, last week, Deej. So
Well, and what's funny? Take. I did notice that even though I wasn't there last week with the 3 or 4 things I would have watched, you still went an hour and 55 minutes on just your
oh yeah, well, Steve and I
so
that's our quick 10.
I was right there with you, Steve, with most of what you said on episode 1. Episode 2 did draw me in a little bit more because I just don't think there was as much. I forgave episode 1, which you weren't able to do. And so I thought the story moved along, a little bit more logically in episode 2. Episode 3, I kind of slid back again a little bit more towards what happened in episode 1, without spoilers. I guess it's just, how did they get these weapons on the plane? There's just no, I don't know. It seems to go back and forth for me. The story is a little bit hit or miss, but I am enjoying the show because I've suspended my take on reality enough to where I'm just enjoying it. I like Idris Elba, so I'll happily watch him do most anything. But yeah, the story, it's got its issues for sure. I know what you were saying too, DJ, about they're not going to tell you how to really get things on the plane manual. Or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. You still have to have some semblance of plausibility in there, I think.
I am moving more. I'm enjoying it more as it goes on. Exactly as DJ. Do you know, DJ, you said I would, or you speculated that I would, and I am. The further I get away from episode 1, the more I'm kind of enjoying it. And I thought it ended with a fairly obvious cliffhanger, the last one, but still, It was an enjoyable episode. I wasn't bored. I found myself, a little bit with, does that what a blank looks like, really?
Well, yeah, anyway, that was that whole thing with the bullet, which was...
Yeah.
a little weird. And,
But it was
and the
good,
fact
though.
that
It was good.
she gave the thumbs up, like she
That's
couldn't
great.
have combed that entire section of the plane.
But see, that's what I
in
think.
the 2 minutes that.
But that
They
is what I
weren't
found
watching
to be
her, you know?
realistic. It's like that's what I could picture people doing, and they're not. And he's pointing out exactly like if you're calling on that as an imperfection in writing, but yet he's calling it out in the show, right? He's like, maybe they just didn't find it. You're like, duh, but that's how people they're panicking. They're upset.
Right.
They're trying to solve a problem that maybe can't be solved, and that's what he's doing. That's what the to me that's what the story is really about. And I think he's doing a fantastic job with it. Idris Elba is awesome in this. I love his personality and the way his demeanor and the way he's acting like this out. It's just the character I think is very, very interesting. And that to me is the draw of the show.
I just thought that, because I'm trying not to spoil anything for the people that haven't watched it, but, the switch from the blanks. Yeah, well, the switch from the blanks to the live rounds, it was like, why... how did they get there? I
did like that it's not a spoiler because it's all over a second. I did like the little reaction from the Neil Maskell is the name of the bad guy in real life. But I did like that second of panic on his face where he goes to hit Idris and he just grabs his arm and you just see that momentary look of panic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was great. I love that little bit. Yeah. I thought that was very fun.
It's like, this isn't what I thought I was dealing with.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'll talk about it a little bit later and when we wrap up the show, but there's a scene just like that in Transformers Rise of the Beast. I got to tell you, it's amazing. It practically is the same scene. It's so funny. It's like a little different scenario. Have you seen that yet, John?
No.
In the theaters, Rise of the Beast? Okay.
No.
I've watched about 45 minutes of it earlier this evening on a screener.
Yeah.
So
you might have seen that scene. You know the scene I'm talking about. Yeah, you do.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
they've just turned up, and the main guy has just encountered them for the first time. So I'm not sure. So I don't think I have.
Oh, maybe you haven't. Yeah, you're just about to.
It's all right though so far. It's quite fun.
You're like, I guarantee when you hit play, you're gonna be like, there it is. You'll be like, I think that's what DJ was talking about. Yeah. Like, it's pretty cool.
But I'm quite enjoying it. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
It's inoffensive enough. It's quite fun.
I'll see it. I just didn't go to the theater. I just
inoffensive.
I didn't go to the
Transformers.
Yeah, but famously, the Michael Bay ones were quite leering and quite misogynistic, and they were famously, and let alone the Transformer testicles going over the thing, but they had their serious issues with treatment of certain female characters, and this one though is like Bumblebee. It's fun, it's lighter, it's not kind of it's not got that kind of sensibilities to it. So I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing it off, and I'll definitely get a 4K disc, I think. Cool. So yeah, that's good.
I'll talk about it next week too. All right, last one. Ventured out to the theater, and as you can see by the graphic, I got to see a sneak preview. I guess they called it that. They sent me an email. But a lot
Which
of
aisle in Walmart was it in, Deej?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so this comes at Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning coming out on Wednesday. Supposedly it's coming. They keep announcing it as the 12th, but then it did drop yesterday. You could see it on the 10th, 11th, 12th, all the way up. So I think they kind of changed all of that when they're trying to get IMAX screens available for this, for whatchamacallit, the Nolan
Oppenheimer
movie. Oppenheimer, thank you. My mind went blank. So that's coming out, and I love seeing the people on Twitter and stuff on social media complaining that Mission Impossible might be kicked out by Oppenheimer, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Well, go see it before then. I'm like, you're complaining about something that's going to take like 2 weeks from now. I'm like, let's go see it. Duh. But yeah, so my favorite. This is Maverick all over again. this was a blast in the theater. It is fun. It is, it's popcorn, blockbuster fun in the theater. It's, the stunts that are coming and you're still having a blast with it. We were lucky enough that in our particular theater, there was a family behind us, and there was a older teenager or something that loved to tell you he knew what was going on screen. It was so funny. It's like, there was one part, they're like, she's dying.
Man. Say what you see. Say what you see.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was so funny.
No.
And then we've all seen the motorcycle jump, right? And in these movies, when people fall, the music is going crazy and it's all this, and it's like, and then right when he goes off the edge of the cliff, it goes. So you get to feel like you're in the air. Yeah. That must have been so cool to do. Like the whole theater. You're like, what the hell? It was so funny. But yeah, there's another scene in this movie that I won't give away, but they use silence just even more effectively. And it is awesome. I can't wait to get this at home for that scene, because it's been done in other things this way, but it was good. I don't want to give any more. It was great. I don't want to give any more of that away. But the story, remember the issues I particularly had? I'd forgotten, Across the Spider-Verse was a part 1. We knew this was a part 1. There's a Dead Reckoning 2 coming out next year, but this is it's a legit story beginning to end. And okay. I mean, by the end of this, you feel satisfied and you can't wait to see where it's going to go from here. It's not like, remember with Spider-Verse, you knew, right. I mean, it's even if but you could see.
Is this not a cliffhanger? Is there no cliffhanger on the end of this one?
I don't feel like it was a big cliffhanger. Not at all. I feel like that there was you have questions like, how are they gonna wrap this up? Of course, because the full story isn't over, but you feel satisfied. You're like, okay, they did that part, and you're like, whatever the story is. There's characters, the character development, you don't know what's I had a blast with it. It's an absolute. I mean, like I said, as excited as I was last year about Maverick, that's how I feel about this one this year. It's just, to me, it's just that good. And for a series to have a 7th movie like this, and you're like, oh my God, it's like, I can't wait for the 8th. It's like,
the only problem that I've got with it, and especially releasing it on a Monday night, is 2 hours and 43 minutes of movie is a long movie for a weeknight. So I haven't seen it yet. I doubt I'll get to see it till the weekend, because that's it. I mean, with you add your half an hour of ads and crap at the beginning, that's 3.25 hours. That's a slog, even if it's a great movie. And
John,
that's how I felt about John Wick. I mean,
sorry, we're fighting with each other here. Major cliffhanger. How is he going to save the world from the eternity? It's the cliffhanger of every Mission Impossible, really. Like, how is he going to save the world? And you're like, in this one, they just put 2 steps. And Jordan really liked it. Absolutely loved Dead Reckoning Part 1. Not a single dull moment for me. Can't wait to rewatch it on the weekend. That's the thing, is like, it is a longer movie, 2:43, like you said, but it's not like at the end, you're like, oh man, this is slogging along. You're entertained the entire time. And I can't wait for you guys to have seen it, because there's a couple of you're just having so much fun. You don't want it to end. That's how I felt, because I know, like what you guys said with like John Wick 4, and we're like, oh, could you have killed a few less people and shortened it by like 20 minutes to 30 minutes, right? There's some stuff in here that you'd be like, did he have to do that many times? Yeah, it was fun. It was so much fun, but it's not, I don't find it to be redundant. But I had a blast with it. So.
He famously did the motorcycle jump 6 times. Are all 6 in there? Are they?
In one way or the other. Yeah.
Next one. And again.
Yeah, exactly. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
If I'm doing them, they're making the screen.
Tell me this. Do we think that there is sorry, I see the time, but I'm just wondering. Tell me this. Is there a length of movie, do we think, where you should not have trailers and adverts in front because the movie is just too long to have all that beforehand?
2:43.
Every movie.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
I tell you, in this Walmart screening, I feel like I had far less trailers. I think we were like treated to they only showed like 2 or 3. I think one of them was and they seemed fairly short. I was very surprised. What was one? Oh, the new Turtles movie. I got the new animated Turtles movie coming out. I hadn't seen the trailer for that yet, so that one surprised me. But
I have a problem with all the trailers. If they did, back in the day, we're old, right? But if the movie started at 8, the trailer started at 7:30. Like, I wouldn't have a problem if the trailer started before showtime, because then you're making the conscious choice to watch them or not. But when the movie is 3 p.m., then it should start at 3 p.m.
Yeah, but the difference is now when we were kids, think about it, there was no such thing as reserved seating. So you were there about an hour early to get a good seat. So they would start the trailers to keep you entertained till they started the movie on time. Now they know that if we start them early, nobody's sitting there. They're showing up and you're getting to the point now that people know, like, all right, the movie starts at 3.
Yeah, I show up 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. Exactly.
So they put the big trailers towards the end when you're like, all right, I'm pulling in the place at start time.
Right.
Especially early on in the movie going season, like this time of year, I'll get there because I do enjoy sitting through the trailers when I haven't seen them. I'm not a big internet trailer person. I'll do like a big movie like this one I've seen a few times in my theater, stuff like that. But most of the time I don't watch them. And then when I go to the theater, I enjoy them. But when you go to the movies a bunch of times in a month and you're seeing the same trailer, you're like, oh my God, not again. Like, I feel like if I see, like, I felt like that now. About Nope last year. I was like, I feel like I've seen the movie already.
I mean, we've been to 10 movies in the last 3 months or so. So I feel like we've seen most of these trailers.
In the cute little cinema that I saw Dial of Destiny in, that started straight away. Right. No trailers, no ads, straight into the movie. Again, I think that might be why I felt it was a bit like a home theater as well. It's just straight into it. Oh, it was lovely.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So I can't wait for what everybody has to say about this.
Nope. You there, Deej?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Oh, you frozen.
You froze.
I froze?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Are you downloading something on Kaleidescape?
Nope, I shouldn't be. And you guys didn't freeze, so
yeah,
that might have just been in your feeds because I don't know if it froze for everybody else. Maybe. I don't know.
Look at what John says. John Thompson says, "Wait till you have Killers of the Flower Moon at Christmas." 206 minutes.
Oh my God.
What is? I don't know what that is. Killers.
That was Martin Scorsese
as
well. Yeah,
and Martin Scorsese film.
That was another one of the trailers.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I saw that and watch at home.
That looks good
for me.
It's more of a mini series, I think.
Yeah, it's true. All right, you want to get to? We'll do our 4K discs.
Yep.
That's everything.
Just releases now, isn't it? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we just got to get to our 4K releases. So we'll do that now. All right, there we go. Is that one? Oh, wrong banner. Mm-hmm. That's for the 18th.
Bruce Banner.
Actually, no, that's correct.
Right. Yeah.
Look at me.
That's next Tuesday.
I edited it. Hey. I actually did something right. All right.
Did you say that's Bruce Banner?
Who said it? Oh.
Yeah. He says the wrong banner. I said,
went
Bruce
over
Banner.
my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
So, first up next week, Live and Die in LA. These are 4K releases coming for July 18th. And so we got that one from, what was that, 1985?
I've never seen that.
This.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah. I saw it.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah. I saw this in the late 80s. Probably on cable, I think.
I should buy it and pair it up with Battle for LA, and then I'll have a double feature for the weekend.
It's a
Mulholland Drive, Training Day.
A little different.
Right.
This actually might be a really good one for 4K. I'm kind of interested to see it because another one I'll probably be like, never seen it look this good.
Well, it's Kino Lorber as well, and they're solid. I mean, they do really good releases. So yeah, I'm curious about that as well.
Yep. So Scruffy.
One of my
Scruff
favorite
Kingman.
80s
He was on
movies.
yesterday. That's one of his favorite 80s movies. So nice. All right. So you got that to look forward to. We have Hugo. From this one's from 2011. And what is it? Who
Martin
is this Scorsese
film?
Yeah.
This was his foray into 3D. And I'm not sure. I've seen it once. I've got it in 3D Blu-ray. I've seen it once, and it was okay, but it seemed to be quite an experimental movie for me. It was clearly him dipping his toe in the 3D water, and I didn't massively enjoy it. I thought it was okay, but I'm not sure what the purpose of the 4K disc was. If the whole point is it's in 3D, then why just a 4K disc kind of removes the point for me? Yeah. But I know there are many people that absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm just not quite sure. It just seems a bit odd.
Well, most people don't have 3D anymore. So you're going to release it in the best format. And like you've said many times, like 4K, if it's done right, can look better, you know. So,
but the whole reason for this to exist was in 3D, even more than Avatar. This was designed for 3D, and so it seems a bit weird that you'd then you just completely remove the reason for it to exist. But yeah, so it's odd. I don't know, but I have heard good things about it.
TVs is what removes it to exist. So you just have to flat out remove it from existence then, because if you don't have, most people don't have 3D capable displays anymore. Yeah. You know, it kind of went by the wayside. So I get what you're saying, but you're like, so don't put it in 4K when they did. I mean, they did release it in regular film too.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the guys are saying in chat that it does. VJ and John are saying that this release comes with a 3D disc as well. So fine, but I've already got the 3D disc. So there we go. I wouldn't be picking this up, I don't think.
This is weird coming from you. This is another one of those Steve George. I'm going to contradict myself because every time I say I love 4K, you're like, or 3D, I love 3D. I say 4K. You're like, 4K is so much better. Now you're like, here they're bringing you a 4K, bring it right to you, Steve. And you're like, but come on, the 3D.
Yeah, but it's more of a critique of the film. It's not a great movie for me, but the whole reason to watch it was it's Scorsese in 3D. So if you then remove the 3D, then it's then for me, it cuts the heart out of the movie.
That's what I used to say about Avatar, because Avatar legitimately, like, they designed stuff for 3D. And kind of like Dread. I mean, he invented stuff on that movie for 3D. Film processes to shoot things in a certain way at a high frame rate so that they could 3D it and everything. That all these movies it's part of the technology, but yet when we have talked about it in the past, you've been like, but it looks amazing in 4K.
Yeah, no, you're like, but that's a good film.
Oh boy, I love you.
So what Avatar could you mean? What possible 4K disc could you be talking about?
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Didn't this already come out?
Nope. Next week.
I thought it was already out.
No.
Is it already out on Kaleidescape, Deej?
Yes, but a long time ago.
I mean, wasn't this one of those ones that was dropping while it aired?
Yeah.
You could buy them by the episode or something like that?
Yes, absolutely. It was. It like by the third episode, I was. You were getting same with House of the Dragon. Yeah, so I was getting it the day after. But I thought it had already come out. So
can't wait because I haven't seen them in 4K yet. I only saw them on a really crappy sort of version of it. So I'm really looking forward to rewatching this. This is going to be great.
Yeah. So if we haven't said it, I feel like I didn't. The Last of Us, full complete first season in 4K, and I got to tell you, it's glorious. It is. It really, because this is a very dark series too.
Is it in Atmos stage? On Kaleidescape?
Yep.
Right. Great. So it will be on thing as well. Oh, excellent.
Yep. So, also coming up, we have what is that? Renown Westerns. This is from 1957 to 1960. TV show, I guess. I've never heard of it.
It's a collection of movies.
It's a collection of Westerns?
5 films directed by Bud Bodinger. Yeah, so it's a collection of movies,
Feels like it should be in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, never heard of these or any of that. Yeah, but okay. And I was going to say last, but we have Les Mis. What's that?
This was like, for me, this was one of the most fingernail pulling torture movies I have ever had the mispleasure of watching. I hated this. This could be close to Fifth Element. It was awful.
Really?
The cast. I mean, it's
yeah. Oh God, it. I think it's about 2.5 hours long, and it felt like about 8.
Yeah,
it's about 2 hours and 29 minutes too long.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Now I know that this is massively controversial, right? Because everybody loves Les Miserables. But I was one of the miserables while I was watching it. Obviously, it's miserable. I get that, but it's just how I felt whilst I was watching it. Oh God, this film was hard to watch.
I feel like I think my wife and daughter loved it.
Quite.
Don't they like singing and everything?
Oh, it's a musical.
It's a musical. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
It's a Broadway
show. Absolutely loved it.
I just yeah.
Well,
this would be another one like The Fifth Element that I would never watch again.
Scruff Kingman agrees with you, I think. So I think
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Nobody else has said we love it, so I think he's agreeing with you, Steve.
Everybody loves it, but me.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
I didn't even know that was coming out, though. To be fair,
and you had your eye out for it.
Yeah, well, I'll take my eyes out if I've got to watch it again.
Oh God! All right, and last next week, July 18th, Breathless from 1960, a film by Jean-Luc Godard. So,
have you guys not got Jaws 2 next week? Did you get that this week?
I think we got that this week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
we
was
get
in
Jaws 2 next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course, we talked about it, didn't we? Might have been the week before.
Something. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it did come out it might have come out on the 4th or for the 4th or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. We get it on Monday.
Do already have it.
So Oh, okay.
So, all right. So, whoops. Why didn't we just go back? There we go. So I think we're good on listener we're good on listener comments. I went through a bunch of them yesterday. We still do have a few in here. So did you listen to Take Over Tuesday, Steve?
I caught a few bit of it live. I caught the Happy Treason Day, Steve.
Yeah. How come you didn't say hi? You should have said hi.
Well, I was only watching. I didn't want to interrupt your flow. You were doing so well.
Oh God, it's
I was watching that, but as you were going through the comments, that was funny. The Happy Treason Day was making me laugh.
Yep. I got that one.
It's all good. But yeah, you, as I said earlier, you've been on TV more this week than most newsreaders. With your Todd Anderson, and then Take Over Tuesday, and then tonight as well, and then last week's. I mean, you're just ubiquitous. It's like you and Walter Cronkite.
Yeah. A little different.
Well,
a lot different. I'm a clown. More like me and like Bozo the Clown would be closer. It's like, get up every morning, kids. Oh, jeez. No, yeah, that was fun doing that. I had to do it. I wanted to put something out, so it was fun going back and I mean, like I said in the chat, like I said in the podcast. I'm like, that's how we started doing that one. And, it was fun going back. And it makes me appreciate us, the three of us, even more, and talking with the listeners, like I said, and having somebody, it's so much easier. Ara was alone last week too. Braden was on vacation and Ara had to do his show by himself. And I feel bad because he knows how busy I am. So I feel bad because I would have loved to have jumped on with him, but he didn't even want to ask me because he knows I'd just drop everything to get on. So I meant to text him too because he did a great job, but it's not easy when you do that. And he did a great job too. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it is fun with the chat too. Having the chat to go off of and talking to people and stuff. But yeah, so I got a bunch of the comments out of the way yesterday. I did a bunch yesterday, so we're good this week. What's that? Just
just pick this up in the chat. So Travis says we did a Christmas Day double feature that year, Evita and Beavis and Butthead. I'll take Beavis and Butthead all day long, and twice on Sundays over Evita, I think.
Yeah, well, Paul had mentioned earlier in the chat he's seeing Evita with Madonna in it, and then that's what I'm like, how did those two get mixed together? Like, where'd that come from?
That is a hell of a double bill.
It's I don't know which direction is like one cleansing the other, or I don't know what's going on there. It's like, but yeah, next week we're gonna battle Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have, a little bit more information, spoiler free, of Transformers: Rise of the Beast. And like you, I'm probably, I guess, a little bit more ahead of you, like maybe halfway already. And it's looking home theater wise. I will say I bumped this one to -3. I bumped it up 3 dB. Not that I wasn't getting a good experience at -6, but it's Transformers. You gotta, I'm not kidding you. I just, as soon as I did, I was like, whoo. And I'm like, this is nice. I'm like, and I'll tell you early on, I'll mention again next week, but you might not have seen this yet, Steve, either. There is a scene where your subwoofers let you know something's coming. And then all of a sudden you're like, that's cool. It's like, and you're just like, and you're like, what the? And I don't want to ruin it for you when you go through it yourself.
It is cool when they do that. Like I said, with Planet of the Apes, it does it too. Yeah, and you're just like, ooh, you're ahead of the film, but in a good way.
But any of that stuff you do, it's like, and then people watch it on their big TVs with their soundbar, and they're not getting the thumps and they're not getting that directional stuff.
Because it's built for us.
I know.
Just for us.
Just us. Don't share it with anybody else.
And so next week, well, not only then if we're doing Battle Los Angeles next week, which is spoiler alert, it's an absolute barnstorming home cinema experience. But I'm going to be talking about No Country for Old Men. I finished my modern Western trilogy, and also Plane as well, because I did rewatch it. I bought the 4K disc. I rewatched that, and that has some very nice home theater stuff in that as well. So, we'll talk about that next week as well. And then hopefully Mission Impossible, if we've both been able to see it. Dead Reckoning as well by then. See it,
this weekend.
Yeah, I am gonna do it if the weekend, if not before. But so plenty to talk about.
Plenty to talk about, and next week's live stream will be our recording the 300th episode. Awesome. So lots of fun there. I got a little something planned for that. We'll try, maybe, I don't know, maybe do we shorten it up? And I don't know if people want to send in some comments about the 300th episode or something like that. Those we'll try to get those all in the show, even if we have to blast through them or maybe go a little longer. I don't know. But we'll do that. And I have something else that you guys, the listeners, will find out about next week. So next Tuesday is going to be a fun day. The Takeover Tuesday, I've already planned for that. 300th episode, because that's $2.99. But yeah, 300 episodes coming up next week. So crazy. We started.
Awesome. Does it feel like 300 episodes?
No.
Feels like about 600, does it?
No, the other way. Honestly.
I know.
No, because if I actually think back to what we've done and how this has evolved, it took 300 episodes to get here, but yeah, 300 episodes. So I'm pretty excited. So should be awesome. Should be a fun week. So
look forward to it.
All right. And that good for everybody else? Any other final comments?
Nope. Just to thank everyone in the chat. It's been a lively chat tonight, non-stop. So, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been, the chat's growing, and it's like chat's growing every week. More and more people participating in all the different places, Twitter, and I mean, if you want to participate, we can't see, according to StreamYard, we can't see any other chat. We can't see Twitter chats. Apparently, if we were on a Facebook page, we'd be able to see those here too. But Twitter doesn't come through to us, so we don't get to see that. So if you want to participate in the chat, you can go to the YouTube page and watch it there. So, but thanks to everybody. Thanks to Paul, VJ, John Thompson, and Johnny Speakers was in here earlier. Travis, I think this is Travis's first time here. Maybe no.
I think so.
Talk to Travis today. He's going to be on in August. That's going to be fun. Paul, obviously, Scruffy Kingman, he was in yesterday, kept me entertained. Zombies, Rust 5, all these people. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating and keeping us going, keeping us entertained, and maybe not on schedule, but we're entertained. So, but all right, that'll do it for this week. What do we got to do?
Go push play.
What he said.
Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.